Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to another edition of Hilaal Live, all the way from the Cape Town studios. My name is Lukman Shadrack. Thanks for tuning in to channel 347 on DSTV. Alternatively, you can also live stream on www.hilal.tv. It's such a important time of the year where we all try and find other means of earning an extra income. We try a side hustle, we try to go into business, and I thought, let's invite an entrepreneur that's been doing business for a long time, and he's just such an amazing guy where he does wears a few hats as well. So we're going to unpack about this brother, Rezah Nazier, owner of Urban Basics. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam to you in the crowd.
Jazakallah so much for coming into studio. I know it's taking hours of your day as well. As an entrepreneur, every single minute, every hour counts, right?
We try to make everybody happy.
Good answer. Tell us a bit more about your history, about your background. Born and bred Cape Townian.
Yes, look, man. I'm actually born here in Lansdowne.
Oh, wow.
And
Okay.
with the dispensation, we were moved out to further places. It's awkward from where I'm used to.
Sure.
But look here, we make it work. We make it work. And they say without sacrifice, nothing is achieved.
Of course, yes.
So yes, we started very small. I studied at university,
Alhamdulillah.
studied law, but I thought, nah, that's not for me. I think those days, your parents wanted you to be two things: a lawyer or a doctor.
Or teacher. The other one was a teacher
Yes,
as well.
yes. So I was sitting in class one day and decided, nah, this is not for me.
Okay.
Finished my fourth year, had to do my honors.
Just before articles, just before.
Yes, all that, and my mom
And you
said,
went to the Latin even.
oh, yes. But luckily, Latin is out of the script now. But
Of course.
look, yeah, then I decided, no, this is not for me.
Mm.
Right, and then I'm selling stuff from the age of 12 years already.
Wow.
12 years old.
So that
trying to
entrepreneurial flair.
Yes, I found it exciting because my uncle was a teacher,
Mhm.
and he always had the side hustle selling this. And one day I asked him, because his name was Rashad,
Uh-huh.
and he's also Lansdowne, the whole Lansdowne knows him.
Right.
And I said to him, give me a few shirts, man, let me sell it. He said, that's cool, you're too young. And
Right.
sold the shirts within 2 days, made a
Wow.
couple of bucks.
That's
And from there, just I was excited.
nice. And after you decided to obviously not go into law, did you perhaps explore other careers?
I was very fascinated with mechanics and pneumatics and hydraulics and stuff like that. I had short stints with that because
Okay.
my late wife worked at a hydraulics company and she introduced me for the job.
Okay.
I enjoyed it and I started working on the rigs that comes into the oil rigs that comes
Right,
into
yes.
the harbor.
Right.
Then the owner sent me to fix the pneumatic pipes and stuff like that. I did it for 6 months and I said, no,
Okay.
I can't do this. I
Oh.
need to be out there and make business.
Okay. So that obviously then allows you to explore other avenues
Yes.
of how the industry works.
Yes.
Okay. Take us through your journey after that.
Okay, all of with well, one thing that I noticed is that in any business, if you can supply a commodity that's in need, right, and you can supply it at a good price,
Mhm.
then you're in business,
Right.
right?
Because that's what it's about, supply and
Yes,
demand.
supply and demand,
Mm.
and then
And
we
finding the niche.
yes, that's very important. That's very important because sometimes you try this one thing doesn't work, you need to go into the next thing,
Mm.
stuff like that, and eventually, what I decided is to supply a commodity that was very necessary in the industries, not industry, but industries with with the safety stuff.
Yes.
Because everybody had to go that way.
Right.
Then I
Right.
thought, let's try this. And I started filling in. You had to register on the databases. At that time, it cost us 38 Rand to register.
Okay.
Now, it's a few thousand Rand.
Wow, 38 Rand.
Yes. I can remember I had 28 Rand in my bank account, and my uncle loaned me the other money.
Wow.
And I registered on the database. And
Amazing.
the first, I won a contract with Tigerberg Hospital.
Okay.
Supply the nurses and the matrons with uniform.
Wow. Okay.
And then I thought, okay, let's open a factory. And then I started another business, a security company who needed uniforms. We made our own uniforms.
Mm.
And with uniforms, Shadrach, it's an expensive thing.
Of course.
To kit out one person for a security example,
Mhm.
it's 2,500 Rand.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
You understand?
And look, you want it to be durable because you want it to last as long
There
as
we go.
possible. And
There we
also
go.
look smart and chic at the same
And
time.
also the current companies at those times were only the rich could afford it. And to be quite honest, I mean, I feel that gap where it became affordable and you can afford it, and you look neat, and it was durable.
I get you.
And from there, this thing just
Because
skyrocketed.
especially with stuff like that, it's all about how it washes,
Yeah.
and how it wears after that as well. So at that time, were there a lot of competition?
There was one major guy, and
Okay.
everybody knows him in the municipalities. Yes, because he supplied. It was the only black guy
Right.
that supplied uniforms
Right,
in South Africa,
Right, right.
and he went crazy because he got all the tenders, most of the tenders.
Wow. And obviously he buys in bulk.
No, and he opened his own stuff way back then. I'm talking
Gotcha.
about 25 years ago. He opened his own factories, and he
Yeah.
he had the golden recipe.
Gotcha.
But I learned from him. I learned that you need to supply where there was a demand for, and at a good price. And that is where I went into.
What do you think at that time set your brand apart from others that were out there in the market?
I think the turnaround time of supply.
Okay, that's important.
Yeah, because I was
Time is money, as they
yes,
say.
because it took him about 4 to 6 weeks to supply. My turnaround time was about 2 weeks maximum. So I got a lot of work, a lot of work, and the personal relationships I tried to build up, because I tried to build an image for a company. So I can supply from a sock to a cap, from head to toe. That was my motto. And I personally got involved with it. And that to me, I mean, there's a famous brand out there or a shop out there. The guy started a fuel station now about a year back. And he gave me an opportunity, and the guy's very happy, and it's near here. It's near here.
That's so great. We're looking at some of the work on TV right now. I see you also do sports apparel.
Yes, that is also. I played rugby.
Oh, nice.
So a few of my friends, with the new advent of apartheid being gone, there was a lot of guys that was employed at Saru Rugby.
Right.
So I went there one day with one of my friends there. I know him, said, look, yeah, give me an opportunity to supply SA Rugby. He said, oh, this stuff goes out for tender, but what we have development programs.
Nice.
I can have you make 2 sets of rugby jerseys. So I made the 2 sets of rugby jerseys, and they were very happy. And the next year's order was 112 sets of rugby jerseys. And that went on for almost 10 years.
Amazing. Now, looking at the quality as well, I mean, this is international standard as
well.
No,
definitely. We try, like I said, the quality. Like I said, quality is very important, especially because I concentrated on rugby.
Right.
The durability had to be there.
Right.
Because they get dragged around and pulled around and stuff like that. So it was very important to give a quality garment, right? Because way back then it was, the price difference was big, because I charged about a few thousand rand cheaper than the current people that were supplying sports apparel.
Gotcha.
And
that I know which brand that is. Yes.
Yeah. So I filled a good market for our clubs. Right. Because we've got the most clubs, the second most clubs in South Africa.
I would agree. Absolutely.
So I went to these clubs and said, okay, give me a chance. But, our people are sometimes reluctant. They know the bigger brands.
Yeah.
And there's few guys that gave me an opportunity. And
now, I would imagine there's a lot of technology that goes into making this garment, and especially as a durable sports garment, like a rugby jersey. How did you go around exploring that?
Yeah, that was a bit of homework there, because I thought, how do they print stripes on the jersey? I mean, that was new to me. How do you get the logos into the jersey without embroidery? So there's a thing called sublimation, which basically burns the print onto the material. And it's everlasting. The jersey will only break if the seams come loose and stuff like that.
And you still use that technology?
Yes, it's the way to go now with sportswear. With sportswear, it's the way to go. We this last year with the ICC Women's World Cup, we were approached by ICC, and we supplied all the presenters with the kit.
Stunning.
Yes. So it was a feather in our cap.
Right.
And I felt very proud at that moment when we saw on television, that's our uniform.
Of course. And it's a lovely accolade for your CV.
Yes.
In order to, where the company progresses.
Yeah.
How many staff are you at the moment?
Okay, what I've done with COVID, everything died. Sports died, everything. And I thought to myself, what do I do?
Right.
So I had a factory of about 112 people working for me, machines and everything. And then I decided, give the machinery to the people that worked for me.
Okay.
Right. I set them up at their places.
Wow.
And what I then did is that they didn't work for me anymore. They worked for themselves.
Nice.
Then I paid them per garment.
Sure.
It was a beneficial for both of us, because I saved a lot at the end.
Right.
But they empowered themselves. They could employ people in the community now. And I mean, there's one lady that does the embroidery for me. I'm very close to her.
Mhm.
I mean, I saw her walking to work, to owning her own machines.
Amazing.
She bought an amazing car now the other day, and I said, "Oh, this comes from the showroom." She said, "Rezah, thank you." And
Alhamdulillah.
that to me is part of why I do this, to uplift our communities. And you know that, look, man, there's so many talent
Mm.
and
They
skill
just need
sets.
that opportunity. I
So
agree.
I always say that if we can support each other,
True.
we can uplift each other.
I agree. We're going to take an ad break. Thank you so
Yeah,
much for sharing
no
that.
problem.
We're chatting to entrepreneur Rezah Nazier, who's given us very valuable insight around how his business has evolved, where he started and how it's evolved. And we're going to find out what's next as well. Do join us on the WhatsApp line if you'd like to respond. We're going to open the line after the break. For now, thanks for watching Hilaal Live. I'm Lukman Shadrach. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to Hilaal Live. And we're opening up the WhatsApp line very soon. We're chatting to an entrepreneur who's giving us valuable tips on how to progress in the business sector as well. If you'd like to correspond, and maybe you're a budding entrepreneur and you'd like to ask this young man in studio, you're welcome to WhatsApp us 079 085 2511, and we'll pass that message on to Mr. Rezah Nazier. Thanks so much once again
Thanks
for coming into studio. I'm learning such valuable insight from your
Yeah.
journey. Without, there has to be challenges when it comes to having much success as well. If you look back over the years, and if you think back on how you progressed and the things that you did, and I'm sure by now you can cut through the red tape, cut through the shortcuts, because you've experienced it. What were some of the initial challenges when going into business? Let's look at some of the products that you do.
Yeah. I think here with if we do, say we're talking about sportswear now.
Mm.
The challenges is knowing the technology,
Mm.
understanding the technology, because the client wants to know, does the colors, will it stay, will it run, will the embroidery go out, will this and
Yeah.
that, will the hoodie pull and stuff like that.
Mm.
So you start to know the technical side of materials, you know what the wash instructions is
Yes.
and stuff like that, and that's a learning curve. Nobody expects you to know it the first time, right?
Of course.
Because it's trial and error.
Of
It's
course.
trial and error. But what's very interesting is knowing your product.
Right.
Being informative when a client speaks to you.
Mm-hmm.
And not putting your idea to him. He must give his idea and you work around that.
Gotcha.
And that's important because client satisfaction is what makes a deal.
Yes, for
So
sure.
you learn that, you learn the different types of printing, and I never knew there was a thing like puff printing. So when they showed me how to do it, I thought, that's just amazing.
Mm.
And now this is the type of technical know-how that you need to know when you go market yourself.
Of course.
And what I say, it's long hours,
Mm.
19, 20 hours a day.
Of course, yeah.
When other people are sleeping, you're prepping to deliver tomorrow morning.
Yes.
You're packing, you're sellotaping and making this and putting in boxes and making sure the courier picks it up. Sometimes the couriers don't come. You miss your deadline. Sometimes with modern age, electricity cuts 3 times a day, power outages. So you have to factor in the delivery time now.
Gotcha.
Same with materials. If we're still getting materials from China and the local mills has closed because of the economic downturn in the country.
Sure. So these are all, challenges, hurdles that you've as an entrepreneur, and, the buck stops with you.
Yeah.
Do you have any other partners in the business? Just
No, it's
yourself?
only me. I've pulled in my daughter, which does the vinyl printing for us. So I bought a whole setup so she can start her own little business. So I take my stuff to her. She charges me. Now it's a living for her family.
Gotcha. WhatsApp come through, says Urban Bay 6 also has a sister company called Dipped. Entrepreneurship runs by the Nazier bloodline, alhamdulillah.
Yes, it's my daughter's relaxed women's clothing.
Okay.
Where they do the yoga in and Zumba and stuff like that.
Right. Sports apparel for ladies.
Yes, so my daughter ventured into that. And with the Muslim ladies, they need to be covered.
More modest.
Yeah, so she does that.
Nice.
And for the younger generation also.
Right.
But that is totally on her own. I support her where the material is concerned, with my contact with the embroidery and sewing and stuff like that. And she's a very fussy little girl when it comes to style. So I leave her be. And when she comes to me with an idea, I tell her, okay, this and that will work. But she knows what she's going to do.
It's always nice that our kids, carry on in the tradition and also innovative in their own way as well. So brilliant. But if you look back at all these hurdles, challenges, what are some of the lessons learned, number one, in business? And do you, in that process, learn about yourself?
Yeah, I think to me, tolerance is what I've learned.
Sabr.
Yeah, that's the main thing because you know what? It's. I don't want to be negative about
Gotcha.
business,
Yeah.
but there's huge challenges when it comes to money. When you finish delivered, guy promises you that he doesn't pay you. What do you do? You've spent money. You've paid the people that
And the
work for you.
legal resource.
It's minimal. You have to go claim by small claims courts.
Yeah,
They tell us that, look, this is a
or
civil matter. Yeah.
recourse. My apologies. The legal recourse to actually get that money back can be
It's-
months and months and
Yeah,
months.
no, and it costs a lot of money to get to do that.
Right.
So I mean, it's a lot. I had a lot of those things, but
Okay.
I'm very careful. I'm very choosy. Some they say if the thing is too good to be true, it's too good to be true.
Gotcha.
So I stay away from certain things. You might think it's a lot of business, but I've burnt my hands a lot and I've learned. And rather have fewer clients, but clients that's reliable, that put their trust in you and you can put their trust in them. You understand? And that's important.
I suppose it's also relationship building.
Yeah.
You know, that's very important. And often enough, people buy into the owner before they buy
Yeah.
into the business.
Yeah.
And do you find that happens a lot?
Yes, you build a relationship more than a business relationship. You become friends. And I mean, there's one guy, he comes to me and says, "Can I put off my phone?" I say, "Yes, why?" I just want to break. I know here by you, I can sit and have coffee. So that to me is good.
Yeah.
And
Like-minded individuals.
yes. And we share ideas. He's the same industry that I am.
Stunning.
And we help each other when we have shortfalls. So he supplies me with some certain stuff and I the same.
Nice.
When we run short of stuff. But the nicest part of it is that you become friends, man, in a good way. And you can share ideas and eventually I always say that I always give the person the benefit of the doubt.
Gotcha.
But that can be a big mistake as well.
Have you ventured into any social responsibility as well as you work within the communities?
Yes, we do. In my earlier years, we did a lot of rugby tournaments in the West Coast area with the farming communities and stuff like that. And because I made jerseys, rugby jerseys and rugby apparel, I supplied. We did this tournament once a year with kids 7 to 8 years to 13 years old, and we gave them a meal for the day, and the tournament ran the whole weekend, and that to me was the highlight in their year.
Of course.
And it's a lot of things we do. We do food, we do stuff like that. And if the community comes to me, they need that, and we try and help.
That is amazing. And it's always nice to have that social responsibility because that's the community that's allowed you to prosper as an entrepreneur. Successes, feathers in your caps. You mentioned, the last tournament that you guys did as well. But were there other successes that made you proud of what you do?
Yeah. There's this one guy. I won't mention his name.
Okay, sure.
But before COVID, I did some tracksuits for him and there. And he actually, I never knew he represented sourcing a South African tracksuit.
Okay.
So when he came to me with the logos, I said, "This is a South African thing." He said, "Yes, I'm in the procurement to get South African gear for this team." It was a team of 55 people going to, I think, France and Portugal.
Okay.
I said, "For what is it?" Because he told me, "You'll see with the name." Eventually, we made this tracksuit and we made a shorts and a sweater, warm-up sweater for a South African team.
Brilliant.
And that to me was great.
Nice.
And then COVID happened, so the tournament didn't happen.
Oh, gosh.
So then we moved out. When I closed the factory, I operated from home, which I still do. And he can remember I invited him to my house once, 3 years or 4 years ago. And he actually, for 2 days, drove in the area to look for me.
Word.
And he said, "Rezah, I promised myself, you made me happy when you did that tracksuits for me.
Yeah.
I wanted you to make the new ones also." And alhamdulillah, 2 weeks ago, we delivered these national tracksuits again.
Alhamdulillah. And see, that's the service that you deliver. People buy into that. The after sales is also very important as well. A lot of guys want to get into business, guys and girls, guys in general, that would like to start a side hustle, start earning an extra income. What are some of the advices you would give when someone comes to you and say, "Uncle Rezah, I would like to get into business. Point me in the right direction"?
Look, man, I would start off by saying this. Trust yourself that you can do it. Because there's a lot of obstacles out there.
Yeah.
First thing is finances. And you'll find out that you lose sometimes a lot, and you lose and you lose, and you ask yourself, when does this happen?
Right.
But I think market research, which I came to find afterwards, that is the way to go. Do you know your product?
Yes.
Product awareness.
Right.
And go into a business that you love.
Your passion.
Yeah, it must be your passion.
They say if you're passionate about something, you don't work a day in your life.
There we go. You know, my late mom used to tell me, you don't need to work hard.
Work smart.
Yeah. I never knew what she meant that time. I mean, that time you don't ask questions to your parents.
For sure.
But later in years, you realize if you make proper decisions and you lay a proper foundation, you work, but not as hard.
Of course.
And because everything fits into slots.
How do you balance the demands of running a business to trying to get that family balance or lifestyle in there as well?
It's very difficult. Very difficult, man. I mean, you can ask most entrepreneurs, most business people, their family is first in their life, but they come second.
Right.
But the support of the family, but the support of the family is very important. Knowing that they are there for you when you need them most. I can remember we packing tracksuits, and then my wife would pack tracksuits with me, and the kids are sleeping, or tell me, Rezah, are we gonna make it? I said, you fold the jackets, I'll fold the pants, we'll make it.
Alhamdulillah.
We work all night. Then we realize it's Fajr, we salah together, and tomorrow morning, alhamdulillah, 7, 8 o'clock, we deliver.
Alhamdulillah.
So it's your family must trust that you know what you're doing also, man. So they must buy into you. That confidence comes from them.
Absolutely. Rezah Nazier from Urban Basics, thanks very much for coming into studio. It's a real pleasure chatting to you. And shukr for all the that you've done for our communities and continue doing as well. It may all grow from strength to strength, inshallah.
Shukran, Luqman, for the opportunity, and shukran to the listeners. And like I said, you got my number. They can phone me if I need. If we can help them, we can help them.
Inshallah. All the very best. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
And that's our entrepreneur up close and personal with Rezah Nazier, who's part of Urban Basics. If you'd like anything printed, do contact them. They do an array of products, and I'm sure they can give you a hand with your very next project. After the break, we chat to the good people from Sanzav. Can you believe they're turning 50 years old? Alhamdulillah. You're still watching Hilaal Live.